There's a question nobody dares to ask directly. Not how much do you make, but which game are you playing? Because money isn't just a number in a bank account. Money is a system, a map, a set of rules written in invisible ink, and if nobody explains it to you, you'll play your whole life without knowing which level you're on. Today, we're walking through 10 levels of that system. From the man who wakes up at 6 a.m. and checks his balance like checking a prison sentence to families whose names were carved into hospital walls before your grandfather was born. I won't sugarcoat. I won't judge. I'll just describe. And maybe you'll recognize yourself. Level 1, paycheck to paycheck. 6 a.m. The alarm goes off. Not a new phone. The one the carrier threw in free with a plan 3 years ago. Feet haven't touched the floor. Fingers already opening the banking app. 6 yuan. Payday isn't until Friday. Friday is 4 days away. You do the math in your head. It doesn't work. It never works. You brush your teeth with a toothbrush you've used longer than your dentist recommends. You live in a one-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor of a building where the hallway always smells like someone else is cooking. The walls are thin enough to hear your neighbor's television. Rent went up again this year. Your paycheck didn't. Your car is 12 years old. The check engine light has been on for 8 months. You keep driving it because going to the mechanic means choosing between a diagnosis and groceries. Both can't happen in the same week. You work at a warehouse, or retail, or a restaurant, or a call center. The job title doesn't matter. The structure is the same. Clock in, clock out. Someone watches your minutes like they're gold. Lunch is exactly 30 minutes. Take 32. Someone writes it up. You haven't gotten a raise in 2 years. Your manager still talks about performance reviews like they mean something. They don't. The budget is decided in a room you will never enter. You have $200 in savings. You consider that an achievement. Most people at your income level have zero. You've been trying to build an emergency fund since you were 22. You're 31 now. Every time you get close, something breaks. The transmission, a tooth, the refrigerator. A hospital bill you thought insurance would cover, it didn't. The emergency fund is always the first thing to die in an actual emergency. This cycle was designed this way. You didn't build it. You just live inside it. You have $18,000 in student loan debt, $6,000 in credit card debt. You pay the minimum on both. The math of compound interest works against you the exact same way it works for rich people. You'll be paying those loans for 20 more years. By the time you're done, you'll have paid back 3 times what you borrowed. Tax season is the only time all year you see more than $500 in your account at once. You've already spent it in your head before it arrives. Breaks, dentist, maybe a weekend away if anything's left. Something always eats it before you get to the weekend. You've stopped being surprised. Level 2, the stable middle. 3 years ago, you landed a better job, an actual office. Business casual, bought at a discount store. A desk, a computer, a chair that hurts your back. $62,000 a year. After taxes, health insurance, and the retirement contribution your employer matches, you take home around $3,800 a month. That number has to cover everything. It rarely does. You bought a small house in a suburb nobody's heard of, $280,000 with an FHA loan and a tiny down payment pulled from savings, your tax refund, and a loan from your mother-in-law. You're quietly still paying her back. Mortgage is $2,100 a month, including taxes and insurance. 2 cars, both with payments. 1 kid. Daycare costs $1,400 a month. Your wife works full-time because one income isn't enough. You have $35,000 in a 401k, contributing 6% because the financial guy at work said that was reasonable. You have $8,000 in savings. You call it an emergency fund. You also have $12,000 in credit card debt spread across 3 cards. You pay more than the minimum, but not by much. The debt doesn't shrink. It just stays the same. year after year. A quiet parasite attached to your finances. One vacation a year, a rental house at a lake 3 hours away, or visiting your parents. Friday dinners at places that seat you in under 10 minutes. One streaming service, a gym membership. You cancel the gym in January, resubscribe in February. Every month you run the numbers. Every month you come out slightly ahead, a couple hundred, sometimes 1,000. That margin is everything. That margin is what separates you from the version of yourself in level 1. You know exactly how thin it is. One car accident, one medical bill, one layoff, and you're back at the starting line. You don't tell anyone this. You smile at work. You say everything's great. You tell your parents you're doing well. They want to believe it. You want to believe it too. Level 3, the comfortable professional. You make $180,000 a year. Your wife makes $95,000. Together, $275,000 before taxes. Top 10% of American households. You don't feel rich. You feel busy. House was $650,000 in a suburb people have actually heard of. 4 bedrooms, finished basement, 2 SUVs in the driveway, both leased because the salesman made it sound smart. You're not sure it still is. Your kids are in private school or the best public school in the county. Either way, you're paying in tuition or in the massive property taxes that come with living in the right zip code. You have real savings now. $280,000 across 2 401k accounts. $90,000 in index funds, 2 Roth IRAs, a 529 plan for each kid. You max out contributions where you can. Your financial advisor says you're on track to retire at 62 with $3 million. That sounds like a lot until she reminds you it needs to last 25 years. Inflation is a predator stalking your future. 2 vacations a year, Disney World with the kids, a long weekend in Napa without them. You fly economy but pay for extra legroom. You drink $22 wine. You grill steaks on Saturdays. Restaurants where entrees hit $40. You also work constantly, checking email at 10 p.m., taking calls during your daughter's soccer games. Your phone is a third limb. Your manager talks about work-life balance. She also responds to your Slack messages at midnight, which tells you what's actually expected. You haven't taken more than 10 consecutive days off in 5 years. Comfortable and exhausted. That's the core paradox of this level. The money disappears faster than you can explain. You earn $275,000 and you're still running a tight budget. Mortgage is $4,000 a month. Private school is $28,000 a year. The lifestyle has its own gravity and it pulls everything down. Level 4, the high earner. You're a doctor, a lawyer, a senior engineer at a tech company, a regional sales director. 3 years ago, you crossed $500,000 a year. You haven't looked back. Top 1% of American earners by income, but not top 1% by wealth. That distinction is starting to matter in ways it didn't before. House was $1.4 million. Not a mansion, a large, well-appointed home in a neighborhood with good schools and aggressive HOA rules. Rules about paint colors and shrub heights. Mortgage is $7,000 a month. Property taxes, another $2,000. Utilities, $800. The lifestyle runs $30,000 a month before a single vacation or luxury purchase. That number shocks you when you actually sit down and calculate it. You have a real financial advisor, not the one your company gave you, one you pay a percentage of assets to manage. You have a tax strategist, an estate attorney who drafted your will and your trust. You own 3 rental properties that generate some income and a lot of headaches. $1.8 million in retirement accounts, $600,000 in a taxable brokerage, $400,000 in cash. Private school is $45,000 per kid per year. You have 2 kids. That's $90,000 after tax, meaning you have to earn roughly $150,000 before tax just to cover tuition. You'll do this for 13 years per child. You also have a lake house $750,000. You told yourself it was an investment because you can Airbnb it. You rent it about 8 weekends a year at $2,000 a weekend. That doesn't come close to covering the mortgage or maintenance. You know this. You keep the lake house anyway because the kids love it, and because having it makes you feel like you've arrived somewhere. For the first time in your life, your net worth is growing faster than your spending. That's the first real definition of actually getting ahead. But you're also trapped by the income. Stop working, the whole structure collapses. You're rich on paper and still one paycheck away from panic. Just nicer paychecks. Level 5, the first million. You crossed it sometime last year. Net worth, $2.3 million. The first million was celebrated privately. Nobody tells their friends when they hit that number. You sat in your kitchen, stared at the spreadsheet, and felt something that wasn't quite happiness. Relief, maybe. A sense that you'd done the thing your parents told you to do and it had actually worked. Most of that money isn't liquid. The house holds $800,000 in equity. Retirement accounts hold $1.1 million. The brokerage holds another $350,000. Cash reserves, $50,000. You can't spend your net worth without destroying the machine that creates it. You understand this now in a way your younger self never did. You've started thinking about your kids' inheritance. Not in a morbid way, in a practical way. You've set up trusts, named guardians, written letters your attorney keeps in a fireproof safe. You've also started thinking about how much is too much. You've heard the phrase, enough money to do anything, but not enough to do nothing. You wonder what the right number is for your children, what they'll do with whatever you leave them. Whether you're raising them soft, you're 47 years old. Your body is starting to notice things. Your back, your knees, a mole on your shoulder the dermatologist wants to biopsy. You've begun to understand that the purpose of this much money isn't to buy more things. It's to buy time, health, options. You still work 55 hours a week. The money didn't teach you how to stop. The money came from working. And working is the identity. The identity is harder to let go of than the income. You keep telling yourself you'll slow down next year. Next year never arrives. It just becomes this year again. Level 6, 8-figure net worth. Dues, $1 million. Most of it came from an exit. Maybe you sold a company. Maybe equity in a startup went public. Maybe 25 years as a law firm partner. Cumulative compensation plus investments got you here. The path matters less than the arrival. Either way, the check cleared. Life looks different now. You own your primary home outright. You own a second home somewhere with good weather. You lease a car because the tax treatment is better. You could buy 10 of them. You fly business class on anything longer than 4 hours. You've flown private a handful of times. You understand now why people do it. A door-to-door trip that used to take 7 hours takes 3. You have a wealth manager running your portfolio. Money is spread across public equities, private equity funds, real estate syndications, and municipal bonds. You also have a small allocation in venture deals friends bring you. Average annual return, 7 to 9%. Your money earns roughly $1 million a year doing nothing. You finally understand what money working for you actually means. You also understand something else. These returns are only available to people who already have money. That's the oldest rule in the economy. Nobody tells you until you're on the right side of it. Your oldest son bought a $90,000 car at 24. The money came from a job you got him through a connection. You're not sure if that's a success or a failure. You're not sure what he's learned about the relationship between work and reward. You've started to suspect that raising children with money is harder than raising them without it. Poverty has its own curriculum. Wealth has almost none. Level 7, the generational inflection point. Second $1 million. At this level, something changes that cannot be undone. Your wealth is now self-sustaining across generations if managed correctly. Your children will be wealthy whether they earn it or not. Your grandchildren will likely be wealthy. Your great-grandchildren might be wealthy. You've crossed from individual wealth into family wealth. The psychology of that transition is strange. You no longer have a wealth manager. You have a family office. A small team, 2 or 3 people, handling your investments, taxes, estate planning, and real estate. They work for you full time. They have offices in a building with your name on the directory. Your LLC's name, technically. The estate structure is elaborate. Grantor trusts, dynasty trusts, charitable remainder trusts, family limited partnerships. You've moved significant assets into vehicles that will pass to your heirs outside of your estate, minimizing tax exposure. You've worked with estate attorneys who think in 100-year increments. You've discussed how the wealth should be structured after you die. Those conversations aren't easy. Money always reveals something about a family that might have stayed hidden under other circumstances. You have a philanthropic foundation named after your family. It gives away $500,000 a year. Education, mostly. Medical research, a local arts organization. The foundation is run by your daughter. She didn't want to work in the family business, but wanted to do something meaningful. The foundation gives her meaning and a salary. You're not sure if that's good or bad. You don't examine it too closely. Level 8. The Dynasty Founder. $250 million. You're not famous, but you're known in the circles that matter. Your name is on a building at the university you attended, on a wing of the local hospital. You're invited to events where the price of admission isn't money, it's proximity to other people with money. You sit at tables with senators, CEOs, and former cabinet officials. You've learned the rhythm of these rooms. Don't talk too much. Don't offer opinions that could be screenshotted. Listen, nod, build relationships that take decades to mature. Your family office has grown 12 people now. The portfolio includes direct investments in private companies, not just fund allocations. You sit on a few boards as a major shareholder. You vote on the direction of businesses that employ thousands of people. Your decisions ripple outward in ways you've started to feel the weight of. A company you invested in closed a factory last year. 400 people lost their jobs. Your return on that investment was 38%. You think about the factory when you can't sleep. You don't bring it up at dinner parties. One child works in the family office. One is a doctor who doesn't need the salary but finds the work meaningful. One has been struggling for a decade with what to do with herself. The money hasn't helped. Some nights you wonder if the money is the thing that broke her. Level 9 old money. You didn't build this. Your great-grandfather built this, or your great-great-grandfather, depending on which branch of the family you come from. $1.5 billion in diversified holdings. Managed by a family office that has existed longer than most countries' current constitutions. There are rules. There are traditions. There are cousins you see once a year at the compound. You don't particularly like them. You will share fiduciary responsibilities with them for the rest of your life. You were born into this. You attended the boarding school your father attended, and your grandfather attended before that. You went to one of 3 acceptable universities. You summered in the same town, on the same coast, in the same house. The house has been in the family for 4 generations. The portraits on the walls are of people who share your cheekbones. The silver in the drawer is engraved with your great-grandmother's initials. You are not a person. You are a continuation. You argue with your sister about whether to sell a ranch in Wyoming. Nobody visits it. It's been in the family since 1891. It loses $200,000 a year. Your sister wants to keep it. You want to sell? Your cousins vote with your sister. The ranch stays. You let it go. At this level, preserving the family is harder than preserving the wealth. The two things are not the same. You have children. They'll inherit their share of the trust when they turn 30. They know this. They've known since they were old enough to understand what a trust was. You've watched what that knowledge does to a young person. It changes the shape of their ambition. It changes how they choose careers, how they choose spouses. You've tried to counteract these effects, made them work summer jobs, made them live on stipends in college. You're not sure any of it worked. Wealth is a gravitational field that bends everything near it. You don't feel wealthy the way new money people feel wealthy. You feel responsible. You are the temporary steward of something that existed before you. It will exist after you. The money isn't yours. You're just holding it. You signed documents your father signed before you. Your son will sign them one day too. Level 10. The multi-generational empire. $40 billion. The wealth is so old that nobody remembers exactly how it started. There was a railroad, or a steel mill, or a bank, or a shipping concern. That original business is long gone. The money is still here. It has outlived industries, wars, depressions, and revolutions. It has its own momentum now. It compounds without effort. It survives without attention. There is no patriarch. The family is too large for that. There are 47 people in your generation alone. Hundreds across all living generations. The trust supports them all. Some are productive, some are not. Some have built things. Some have destroyed things. The trust pays for their rehabs, their divorces, their failed businesses, and their successful ones. The trust pays for the lawyers who clean up their scandals. The trust endures. You serve on the family council, 12 members elected from the broader family. You meet monthly. You vote on strategic direction. Your decisions touch the lives of thousands of employees at companies the trust owns. Shape university endowments where the family has given for a century. Your name appears in history books. Your ancestors appear in history books. Your descendants will appear in history books. That weight is constant, and it does not set down. You attended the right schools, knew the right people, married someone also from an old family. The vetting process at this level is real, even when nobody says so out loud. Prenuptial agreements are standard. Wealth preservation is a discipline. Your children will attend the same schools. They'll marry people who sign prenups. The system protects itself across generations. You have no financial worries. You will never have financial worries. Your great-great-grandchildren will never have financial worries. If the trust is managed competently, you should feel free. You don't. You feel watched. Every public event is a performance. Every casual comment could become a headline. Every mistake is a family mistake. You can't buy a car without someone noticing. You can't donate to a political candidate without a reporter calling. Your teenage son made a comment at a party last spring. It went viral. The PR firm handled it. The firm has been on retainer since before you were born. You've wondered what it would feel like to be ordinary. You have no way to know. There is no exit. You cannot give away the money. Trustees have fiduciary duties that prevent it. You cannot step outside the family. The family is your entire world. You know almost nobody who has ever worked a shift in their life. You are the most insulated person alive. You are also the most visible. You have more power than governors. You have less privacy than celebrities. You are expected to give speeches, expected to lead the foundation, expected to continue. That word sits heavy on your chest. Continue. And somewhere right now, in a small apartment, a young person is checking their bank account at 6 a.m. They have $47, 4 days until Friday. They have no idea you exist. They will never meet you. Their life and your life are connected by the same economic system that produced both of you. They are at the bottom. You are at the top. The distance between you is measured in centuries, not dollars. Neither of you chose the starting line. Neither of you is entirely free, and the cycle continues.